אל תשכחו, יש עוד אוכל ושתייה וזה, אל תשכחו לקחת את כל ה-giveaways האלה, קסדות, בקבוקים, מחברות, לא יודע, מה קרביים, מכוניות השתלה, כל מיני דברים כאלה.
הרעיון שעולה בחוץ. עשה גלגלים.
Ken, can you hear us? If you can hear us. Yeah?
Yes, can hear you.
Hi, Ken, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good. We're all here. You'll see the audience in a second. There they are. Good to see you. And Michael too from Volvo. Kenneth is from BCLP. The rest of us met here just an hour ago. We're waiting for a few more people to join, and we will start at 6. So thanks for joining. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining, everyone here and everyone at home watching us. I'm happy to kick off the showcase event for the Future of Mobility mission that we worked on together with our partners for in the past 3-4 months. To kick it off, I'd like to invite our host, Itai Harel, the CEO of Drive TLV, to say a few words. Itai.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Power. Power is part of Drive. Drive is an innovation hub that works with the international corporates from the smart mobility area, together with the very talented startups. Some of them you will see it tonight. So we are here in a very unique place in one of our workshops in Power. Power is a POC center that conduct experiments and POCs for Israeli startups together with international corporates. And we established it a year ago. Since then, dozens of POC have happened here, helping Israeli startups to conduct the first POC or first experiment in their technology. And then after that, they can go and meet their corporate partners in their headquarters. So I'm very happy to see you all here. This is the first time that we're doing something with a lot of people, more than 5 people actually, in the past 2 years. And good luck to all of the amazing companies that came. And thank you very much for all the partners and good company, Shachar, Ido, and the team for helping and organizing this amazing mission. So welcome and good luck.
Thank you, Itai. Hi, everyone. My name is Ido Fischler, and I'm the managing partner at Good Company. Very happy to be here and want to thank you all for the time. I prepared a few notes. First of all, I want to talk about the purpose of innovation and technology. Well, since the dawn of humanity, basically, the purpose of innovation and technology, at least the way we perceive it, is to improve our lives and specifically improve our lives on this planet. And one of the most challenging challenges that humanity ever had since the beginning of time was getting from A to B. And that's why we're all here for. Basically, the invention of the wheel is the most innovative, well-known milestone in history. And since then, until today, we're seeing amazing trends in the mobility space, trends that are making the space much more resilient, autonomous, connected, smart, and safe. During the last 4 months, we've partnered with some amazing companies, our partners from Drive TLV that brought their partners Volvo, Denso, Hertz, and Ituran, with Mobilion Venture, with Tesla, Bird, Sompo, as well as our ongoing partners from AWS, BCLP, Leumitech, and KPMG. They're all here in the audience and eager to meet and engage with you. Together with these partners, we've learned and defined our focus. What are the main gaps that we see in the market? Then we engage with more than 70 startups. And today we're showcasing some of the best companies we saw, representing the latest trends in the market, from EV charging, radars to enable autonomous flying vehicles, electromagnetic emission tracking, drivers network, and advanced new sensing solutions. Our goal is to help these startups to scale, if by capital or by business collaboration or by providing professional services. The movement is what we're building in Good Company since starting, is the ecosystem of mission-driven ventures in Israel and also worldwide. And we actually want to build the ecosystem that we are all living in. So I want to take a minute to thank our team and everyone, all the great people that work to make this mission and specifically this event possible. Special thanks, as always, to my partner, Shachar. So I really thank all of you for coming and all of you who joined online or will see the recording in the future. And I hope you have a meaningful day today. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite the first presenter of the day. It's called Make My Day, and we will hear the co-founder and CTO, Knan Aviv.
Hi, I'm Knan Aviv. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Make My Day. Make My Day, we help people to adopt EV in the most easiest way. We are a startup company here in Israel, and we are working in charging optimization for drives of electric vehicle, and we work in a B2B model software as a service. Today, when you drive an electric vehicle, you have many barriers in order to adopt the electric vehicles. Where can I find a charging station? Is a charging station available? What is my range anxiety that I will not reach a point of no return? What do I do while I charge my vehicle? Even today, charging the vehicle might take between 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and can reach up to 40 minutes and 1 hour if you drive on the go. So this is why we created Make My Day. In Make My Day, we take many different parameters from many different sources in order to optimize and to be able to predict exactly what will be the battery in each drive and creating the optimized route and the optimized plan when and where to charge your vehicle. For example, if you are driving from Stockholm to Stuttgart, how much time will it take me? Where do I need to charge the vehicle? How much time will it take me, the charging itself? And what do I do while I charge my vehicle? If I have a meeting, we can offer you a charger just next to your meeting. We come and we work in a user-centric way. We look on the driver behavior and we look on the driver needs. If it's dispatching, if it's a fleet operator, what do they need to, where do they need to stop and what do they need to do? And we connect with the vehicle itself, reading the data from the vehicle and connecting to the charging station. Connecting all these dots, this is Make My Day. We have developed a unique algorithm that can predict exactly what will be the battery in each drive. We learn the user behavior, if you like to accelerate a lot, if you brake more, and we use an artificial intelligence algorithm to know what will be the battery in order to create the optimal route. Now, when speaking on one driver, it's a very important problem. But when speaking about fleets operation with thousands of vehicles, it's a much better acute problem, it's a much higher acute problem, and it needs a better solution. So our solution is divided to three. We provide an API, application program interface, to connect and use our algorithm inside existing solution. We created a mobile application that runs on the smartphone and can be white label. So fleets operator, charging points operators can use the same application that we have branded to their own needs. And we have a solutions that work for fleets operation. And then we can optimize the drive of all the fleets together and also predict what will be the behavior of the charging of each vehicle and the whole fleets together, and we have a calculator that can help transfer and shift from regular internal combustion engines to electric vehicle, knowing what will be the total cost of ownership and what will be the prices and the prediction of the electric vehicle. This is a very nice screenshot. You don't see everything, but you can see in every stop what will be the battery status in every drive. And this is a screenshot from an application that we did together with Daimler inside Mercedes SME. It's integrated into Mercedes SME application that the user can run it on your smartphone and they can decide where they need to go. We understand the agenda, the dispatching, what does the user needs to do. And then we can create the optimal route where it needs to stop and charge the vehicle. The benefit for the end user are very easy. It's a green solution. They can book the electric vehicle. It saves time, it saves money, it's connected to the businesses around. Something is very important that we're doing is creating a new revenue share, working with businesses around so you can eat lunch, drink some coffee while you charge your vehicle. But working with fleets, it's much more interesting. We can understand what is the CO2 emission saving, how to save time and money for the fleets, how to save on driving for each vehicle of the fleets. We have already have paying customer, and this is data from our paying customer. We can show that we can improve the behavior of the fleets by 27 to 33% overall behavior of fleets. And this is an actual customer, a paying customer that's working with us, a fleets operator. So if we're talking about our go-to-market, it's divided to two. We have the solution that we call it B2B, and we work directly with fleets operators, with infotainment system providers, map providers, and we give them our solution for fleets operation. We have what we call B2B2C, which we work with charging point operators, energy companies, OEMs, tier 1s, and importers and dealerships. For them, we give a solution that goes all the way to their end customers, but we work directly with the business. We calculated that we give a $40 positive ROI per month per vehicle inside fleets. This can reach to up to $5.6 million per month, just looking at the 100 top fleets ownerships in the United States. This is a very nice photo of us together with Daimler. Here we are working with Volkswagen. We are nominated with Volkswagen. And those are some very important customers that we already have. We're working with Chevron, and Chevron decided to invest inside Make My Day. They put $2 million in a round that we created of $4.5 million that we just concluded. We are working with UTI here in Israel, Kia, and Elix in Italy, Centrica in the US, and Lafarge Holcim is the very big fleet operator that we are working with. Please move to the next. We have a green solution. We received an important stamp that we help to make the universe a better place, cleaner. I'm Knan Aviv, the CTO and co-founder. Together with me is Nissan, is the CEO, running businesses for a long time. Thank you very much. Make my day.
You mentioned a few go-to-markets, option of go-to-markets. Where's your focus right now? And is it those two? Isn't it a bit defocus to do them at the same time? Don't you have specific go-to-market that you can show better results in terms of ROI for the customer?
Yeah. So the ROI, currently, we are very much focused on the fleets operator. We see the immediate ROI. We see the immediate added values that we give them. If you install Make My Day inside a fleet operator, you can immediately save between around $40 per month per vehicle, which is a lot of money for fleet operator. We are talking about Centrica, for example, 15,000 fleet. So this is our current strategy go to market. Although I would not say no if someone come and say we would like to go for the B2B2C. We have an Elix, by the way, working in a B2B2C model.
Any more questions?
Maybe someone from
I can understand the example. I can understand the example you gave with Mercedes. What's the angle with Chevron?
The angle?
Why did Chevron invest?
I think probably everybody knows that today gasoline stations are not making money from the gasoline. They are making money from the convenience store around it. This is what Chevron is pointing at. They understand that in the near future, less and less people are going to reach a gasoline station, and they're not going to use the same convenience store. We are creating a new revenue stream for them, shared revenue, working with other point of interest around the charging station. So if you charge your vehicle and you're with your kid, you can play video games. Or if you're charging your vehicle and you need to eat lunch, we will offer you a lunch just next to the charging station. And this is what we're doing with Chevron.
Okay.
Are you actually collecting any data regarding the users of your application? And are you willing to actually exploit this data to provide some additional services in general?
Yes, we are collecting data, anonymized data. And currently, the main feature that we are looking on using this data, exploiting this data, is understanding where is the best location to install a new charging station. Because we understand the user's needs, we understand where user arrive with 20% battery, 10% of battery, and then we offer to create a new charging station. I'm looking at them.
We have 20 seconds if Michael or Ken want to ask anything from home, from your office. All right. Okay. So thanks, Knan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. Now we're going to hear Ehud Zorea, the co-founder and CEO of Radomatics. So Radomatics is a company doing a micro airborne radar for UAVs, sense and avoid, enabling autonomous safe flights. and Ehud is going to present in a second.
Actually, it was a good introduction already.
Yeah. Any questions? All right. Clicker. Right.
Okay, you're running the presentation? Okay, I'm Ehud Zorea from Automatics. We are developing micro radars for UAVs to enable them to fly safely and autonomously into the emerging market of UAVs and flying taxis and so on. The general idea is to have a sensor that can detect any collision around 1.5 kilometers away from the UAV, 360 degrees, aimed to answer the requirements of the FAA. Okay, I'm going. This is the team, myself, Eugene, my other co-founder, Noam, Alexei, and Professor Amir Borg. We cover mainly technical person, but also person that have built startups and raised company from A to Z. Our company was founded in 2018, self-funded to now. We didn't raise nothing. We finance our projects by the development with projects that we do to leading companies in Israel. Among them are Elbit, Israeli Air Force Industries, Rafael, Intel, Israeli Police, and Meteor Aerospace, mainly in the projects of radar design and avionics control. The challenge of the autonomous UAVs is mainly focused on safety. Everybody, the FAA is concerned as for the safety of not only of the, just a moment, not only of the UAVs itself, but they are more afraid that the UAV will cause a collision in the air with a small airplane or a big airplane. And this is the main risk for which the FAA does not approve autonomous flight and require a person on the ground to monitor each and every UAV that goes to do any task. And this is exactly the problem we want to solve. Current solutions depend on ground radars, which are very expensive. They take infrastructure in the ground. Nobody wants a radar on the ground, and the communication between the radar and the UAV can be problematic. So this is a solution that we don't think will hold on for the long run. And we think that a radar on the UAV itself, which will enable the UAV immediate control of everything, of all its surrounding, is the best solution. Other sensors, such as camera and LiDAR, are limited to short-range detection and require good weather to operate. The FAA for now regulates a person per UAV, and this is very costly. You can allow a 60,000, 70,000 men per UAV to make the job because it's just too costly to expand. Our solution, our radar solution does not require any operator, doesn't require any radar on the ground to solve. It's only the radar on the UAV itself. It's all weather. It's 1.5 kilometers on 360 degrees, exactly what the FAA aims to regulate. It's low power, low form factor. It doesn't have lens that can have water condensation and other limitations of weather. And it's working in 24 gigahertz ISM worldwide approved frequency. We are targeting our solution to serve as to merge with the FAA regulations and to be the solution that will lead the regulation of the FAA for the autonomous flights, which basically is 1.5 kilometers, 360 degrees, with a reasonable update rate of around 2 to 3 hertz update rate. Because the issue is that the UAV can be very slow, but the small jet or small helicopter that comes towards it can fly very high, can fly up to 400, 500 kilometers an hour. And the UAV, the small UAV, can't maneuver fast. So this is why the 1.5 kilometers is required. And LiDAR and cameras just can't do that. Even a $40,000 LiDAR cannot go all the way to 1.5 kilometers in bad weather. Our go-to-market strategy is to start with pilots in Israel, with military companies and civil companies in Israel, and then go to 3 main markets. The first is integrators, which hold a fleet of UAVs, and to give them the product as is. The other is UAV manufacturer, what we call tier 1s, and the other is suppliers for UAV manufacturers, tier 2, which we give them the design file and the algorithm. The technology can be expanded to air taxis, to helicopters, to small airplanes, and also to spacecraft landing. In fact, we have several IP that we write specifically to enable a landing of spacecraft. The requirement there is to detect the surface of the moon, of the Mars, from a very long range in high accuracy, roughly around 7 to 8 kilometers, to start detecting the surface of the moon or Mars or whatever they are landing at. And so we write at the moment specific IP to enable to do this in a very accurate way. Okay, so our IP, which we were written and we are writing at the moment, cover a radar system and methods, cover waveforms which enable to detect very far and very fast targets for several of our requirements, to extract data from ground of surfaces for landing application of radars, and so on. Thank you.
Questions? Monica.
Very much for the presentation. A quick question about the competition. You didn't say anything about potential competitors or alternatives for, similar solutions, maybe also cheaper ones.
I had a slide, I moved it out because I was afraid the presentation was too long, but there are roughly, we see around 3 competitors, but when we see there is one, Aerotena, which Bill Gates put money off, and they have the metamaterials technology, which is very expensive. You see their prices, it's like $60,000 for a sensor, which is sectorial. So it's not in the league. I don't know, maybe they'll go to UAVs eventually, but they are not there. There is a small company in Israel called Radar V, which just started, and we saw that they just started. They don't have any specific data. And there was a company named Aerotena in Kansas, United States. It was taken by the other company of Einstein, and we saw a sensor that they exhibit costs something like $6,000 sectorial. You can see it in the internet in Einstein website. And as for other methods, they're basically LiDAR, camera, and radar. But the FAA specifically want at least 1.5 kilometers, even to 1.5 kilometers they don't like, but this is the minimum. And there is no way, even if, maybe a $40,000 LiDAR can do anywhere in the range of 1.5 kilometers, but it won't work in fog, in snow, in rain. There is no match here for radar as for the range and for the small factor. This is our first prototype that we have done before we talked to customer and understood what they want. The final product will be twice as large and will be in 24 giga, not in 60 giga as here, and will cover all the distance to roughly 1.5 kilometer. And the cost will be of this around $250. 4 of these will cover 360 degree, and we expect it to sell it at a price point of roughly $2,000, which will be roughly 10% of a commercial drone that will cost roughly $20K. The real UAV that do job, not what we see in the backyard.
Can I ask a question? Okay, yeah, could you comment on your IP protection? You have patents and so forth. And could you comment on that? Also, are you in discussions with the FAA in terms of their regulation that would clear the way, as you say, to be the solution, the FAA?
Okay, as for IP, we have one PCT that is already written on the system design, and we have several other that we write at the moment regarding this technology. And as for the FAA didn't clearly finalize their protocol, what they say. They are discussing it with companies that already operate a fleet of UAVs. And we talk to that companies to understand, to all the companies we could, all the big companies in Israel and in the world who were able to talk to understand that 1.5 kilometer, 360 degree, it's something that came from them. from companies which work directly with the FAA on all kind of UAV regulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Are you planning to be the complete safety solution, or just to be a chip within the system, the safety system? Are you selling the chip, or are you selling the?
No, we are designing all the technology, the antenna, the algorithm, everything. But we, as a byproduct, also design flight controllers so we can deliver customer whatever they need. If they want design files and they want to integrate it into a new design, we can give them design files. If they want it alongside a flight computer, we can give it a flight computer. We can give it as is or as design files, whatever they need. Because usually when they design a new UAV, they want to design it from scratch and for the radar, the antenna to be integrated within the body of the vessel itself and not as an extra material on it. Okay.
Thanks, Ehud. And yeah, you can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ehud. And if anyone else has from the panel, anyone else has comments, now is the time. I think AWS is one relevant company. I also know Gil from Ituran was interested in this type of solutions, right? Or no? Yes? Okay, so I'm just putting you on the spot for a second. While Nisso Moyal, the co-founder and CEO of VHOLA, is getting organized, I'll say that VHOLA is a company that monitor and control EV electromagnetic emissions. And we've met them together with our partners and thought it will be very interesting to hear more. So just 1 second, and Nisso will come on stage. If anyone from the panel has a comment, now will be a good time. All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. My name is Nisso Moyal, CEO and co-founder of VHOLA. We monitor and control electric vehicle, electromagnetic emission, and radiation. So we develop an innovative solution, actually an end-to-end system that will monitor and control the level of electromagnetic emissions in fully electric vehicles and also in hybrid vehicles. The technology improves the performance, the vehicle performance, and increases safety of the passengers from harmful electromagnetic emissions. So we've identified basically 2 main problems. The one is healthy risk to human. The amount of electric components inside the electric vehicle, inverters, converters, onboard chargers, other power electronics, the entire powertrain, the driver safety systems, and those will be added in the future as well, are creating a lot of energy inside the vehicle, and that could be harmful for human beings. The second is a safety risk. Although there are several tests that OEMs taking in order to pass EMC and EMI tests in every new vehicle, there are still components that hasn't been tested or regulated by the regulator, and we are working on that. Okay. In order to prove our claim, we have conducted a full test in Germany, approximately 32,000 measurements from 10 different vehicles of 6 manufacturers. The purpose of the test was to examine the level of electromagnetic emission on all vehicles under a dynamic behavior, meaning on a regular driving basis of each one of us. The test was conducted according to the IEC organization. There is already a protocol well known in the industry. You need to place sensors on the head, belly, and legs to test the exposure on the human body. And you need to do it in different driving speeds. The results were shocking. If the world Health Organization sets the bar on 4 milligauss and actually says that there's twofold increase in childhood leukemia associated with average exposure to electromagnetic fields, you can see that here the drivers and the passengers, and in all vehicles, this is an average and accumulated result from all the vehicles that we've tested. You see the high levels that were exposed. The maximum values were a lot higher. We were not the only ones that were worried about these results, okay? The European Commission also conducted a report, an industry report, actually the first in Europe that was done in last year. They've published it, and the key findings were that there is no commercial solution to take all the available information from the vehicle and from the environment, aggregate the data, and provide a proof or a source of the issue of electromagnetic emissions. They did it also in order to create a regulation framework for the electric vehicle industry. And there is now a conclusion that the regulation needs to come in place. We hope that it will happen by the end of this year. So how our solution works? We've designed sensors that are not available off the shelf. We have to design electromagnetic emission sensors in order to place them inside the vehicles. But not only that, we also connected the sensors to the CAN bus. That's the network of the vehicle. We take all of this data, we provide a hub that collects all the data and aggregates the data. We build based on AI profiles, meaning a driver profiles of different driving scenarios. If I'm driving or aggressive driver, I will have one profile. If I'm driving with my entire family for 4 hours on a trip, I will have a different profile, energy profile. And then we created a big data analytics system. So as I said, it's an end-to-end solution to provide OEMs, fleet managers, public transportation managers, a full system to analyze and detect their problems. So the key values from the system is that we actually, for OEMs, we provide a life cycle solution for the entire lifespan. So we can detect if by the aging of the materials, an EMF all of a sudden behaves differently in the vehicle. Different loadings, how they are affecting the vehicle itself. Dynamic behavior, now I'm coming to the regulation that is in place currently in the industry. There is lack of regulation that tests the vehicle in dynamic behaviors. And now OEMs actually provides electric vehicles with a warranty to 7 and 8 years. No one knows exactly what will happen throughout this years to the vehicles. We also have a solution that provides a predictive maintenance alerts about the EMF components, the problematic ones. And finally, by reducing the electromagnetic emission, we also can provide a smart energy consumption system. So our go-to-market strategy, we are now working with OEMs, one big European OEM. We actually work with them on the design phase. So we provide them the sensors, we install them in the vehicle, and we provide feedback throughout the design phase, okay? That's already in progress. We also have a public transportation fleet, a well-known operator here in Israel that is now running, the test is running on 50 electric buses. We are now starting to talk with vehicle inspection centers in Europe to show them and bring to them an end-to-end solution to support annual safety tests. We can all imagine that currently no one knows what will be the annual inspection test, how it will work in each one of the inspection tests all around the world. And we're starting to work also with fleet managers. That's it. Questions?
In the short term, until the regulation will support the business efforts, So those pilots or corporations or first engagement you have with the market, what KPIs are they looking to see from you in terms of ROI?
Very good questions. They are looking at now detecting the sources. They're looking at detecting the sources of problematic EMF components, and now they have an issue because all of what they are working on is already designed platform. They cannot change the way they transfer the cables. They cannot change the battery packs, for example, or the inverters or converters. It's a well-known fact. And they cannot fix it. It takes OEM about 3 to 4 years to change or to develop a new platform. So they want us in this phase currently. And the first KPI is to detect the problematic issues. The second is to reduce it by software. This is our technology. More questions?
Once the OEMs and tier ones are aware of the problem, don't you see the problem solve itself by the manufacturers?
No, because again, thank you for the question. Because of the life cycle of electric vehicle, it's quite long as opposed to other vehicles, ICE vehicles. And they would like, actually from a discussion this morning with an OEM, they would like to have a software that enables them to monitor it constantly.
Any questions from home? From Ken online? Online. Home. Ken, any questions from your side? Wait a second. We can't hear Ken. Ken?
Yes, I was on mute, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question was asked earlier about the regulatory driver for the business, and as that changes, and I would expect that once the public discovers these issues with the electromagnetic impact on people, there'll be, at least in the US, lawsuits against the manufacturers that would be an additional driver to solutions such as you propose.
Question, I didn't hear it, but it will be, again, the public awareness is something that will be probably pushing this more to the awareness. We know for a fact now that people are still worried about not only about the anxiety of the range, but also the anxiety of their health. We can provide many, many examples on that. And OEMs are interested to put kind of a proof or a stamp that their vehicle is safe, because it's all new to us. There's no doubt that we are going to electrify the entire market, but still people need to know that they are not riding on inside a mobile phone, charge the mobile phone. They want to ride on safe electric vehicles.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Niso. For those of you at home, you don't realize we're sitting in a hangar where there are cars and there's a cat on the roof that walks on top of us. So we really, went all the way with the mobility, theme. I must say that the electromagnetic emissions is something that troubling my wife quite a lot. She keeps, telling me not to charge my phone next to me when I sleep, and yeah, I don't know how much emission there's from this charger, but yeah, definitely even more. All right, so the next presenter is Ido Levy, founder and CEO of SafeMod. I'll let him present what they do. I think it's a unique one that we're seeing today. We're talking about autonomous vehicles and flying drones, but apparently, by 2050, I think, Ido will correct me in a second, we're gonna have still 60% or something of the trucks operated by humans, and SafeMod is putting the human in the center. So
Thanks, Ido, and hi everyone. I'm Ido. I'm the founder and CEO of SafeMod. We developed the first driver engagement or employee engagement platform for the transportation industry called Drivers. So don't confuse with the names. Our team working and experience in that field for a while. Marcelo, our CTO, developed the backend for SolarEdge, was the CTO of Bondit. We have 2 professors on board that's researching that field for the last 2 decades. Erez Shmueli is a researcher for AI from Tel Aviv University, and Professor Ido Erev from the Technion. Both of them are researching how we can use data and psychology to change and modify human performances, especially for commercial drivers. And we have many other advisors specialized in the mobility and transportation industry. Our mission is to reshape the labor marketplace in the transportation and trucking. Labor and drivers are the keys to success in our industry. I will show you that in a second, and it's completely underserved market, and we're trying to empower the labor to lead the entire industry. We are facing a historical urgency for commercial drivers. In one hand, they are moving, whether if it's goods or passenger, in the entire world. 73% of US goods are transported by drivers. Something similar for public transport, but in the other hand, there is a huge shortage of drivers. There are 500,000 drivers missing across the US and Europe, and it means that there aren't enough drivers to carry or drive your kids to school, to deliver packages, to pick up your trash. And eventually this supply chain is broken not only for the consumers, but for companies. Fleets, trucking, public transport companies are facing a huge problem, actually 2. The first one is that they have very low profit margins, sometimes negative. $125 billion every year in the US alone these companies are losing this amount due to driver mistakes, driver behavior, like accidents, fuel consumption, insurance costs, all of that. So in the other hand, drivers or fleets have underutilization of their vehicles because they don't have enough drivers. There is the shortage of drivers, but in addition to that, there are extreme turnover, churn percentages of drivers. So they just don't have enough drivers to transport everything they need. And these fleets are mainly using or entirely using coercive and negative reinforcement tools like sensors to monitor their performances and supervised drivers like fleet management platforms, ELDs, cameras. As you can see, most of the fleets in the world are equipped with these sensors. And in the other hand, these fleets have a lot of budget to incentivize drivers, but mainly in punishment mode. With the demand for drivers, high demand and low supply, drivers are really apathic for that. They don't really care about that. It's not really changing their performances. And we're trying to change that. With our engagement platform and reward platform, we're making drivers safe and more loyal to the company. It's a SaaS platform that helps fleets to incentivize their drivers to increase the profitability by lowering the accidents, lowering the fuel cost, and increasing the retention by engaging and rewarding these drivers. So how it actually works? It's very simple. We are helping fleets to set the success metrics for their business. The core is safety and efficiency. And in addition to that, fleets can add more metrics like compliance, like in public transport, passenger satisfaction. So they set these metrics, and we're helping them to set the budget, how much they want to incentivize and reward their drivers. After that, we're integrating with all their existing sensors, fleet management platforms and the electronic login device, GPS, cameras. We fuse all the data, and using our behavioral AI platform, we analyze how drivers perform. The last step is to incentivize and reward the driver using our mobile app. Every day, drivers get success-based pay. Every milestone that they achieve on a daily basis, we really give them this success feeling. They get it on a daily basis, and they really earn more money. And it's worked. This is one of our customers, early customers in Houston, Texas. We help them to save $12,000 annually per driver with 3.5% reduction in fuel and 30% less road accidents. This is the value proposition for fleets. We're saving $10,000 to $20,000 annually with accident reduction, less fuel consumed, less insurance costs, and higher retention. And drivers earn in equivalent. Drivers earn around 10% of the savings, something between $1,000 to $2,000. So it's a real win-win situation between the driver, the fleet, and other stakeholders like insurance companies. It's a SaaS, very simple for the fleet. They don't need to invest in any hardware. We are using their existing sensors, so they only need to invest in our SaaS. The go-to-market is to work directly with fleets. In addition to that, we have channel partnerships with insurance companies and fleet management companies and some OEM. And this is our competitive landscape. There are many categories that have some overlap with what we are doing, mainly the dash cams, the fleet management platforms, and some scorecards and driver recruiting platforms. And most of them need to choose between putting the driver in the center or putting the fleet managers in the center. This is where most of the industry focus, the fleet management. And the majority of them either work with the driver or choose to own the data. And we're trying to combine both of that to own the driver, own the engagement with the driver. We have 60 to 80% of daily active users. And in addition to that, we own a significant amount of data from all of these sensors. The opportunity is enormous. We are working to serve this underserved market, drivers, while the entire industry is focused either on the equipment, the vehicles, or the management side. We're focusing on the labor, and owning the labor means that we can own the entire industry. One last thing is our traction. We are growing dramatically month over month since we launched in January last year. We have customers, paying customers in Israel and in the US, public transport, trucking company, waste management companies. We have four channel partnerships, insurance companies, and fleet management platforms. And that's it. Thank you very much. We'd be happy to answer your questions.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I have a question about the user adoption. In the face of probably some drivers in a traditional market with probably unions being also put in place in many fleets, do you see any problem with that? Do you see any resistance from the, your target audience, which are the drivers themselves?
Yeah, actually, unions are great adopters of what we're doing because we are empowering the labor. We give them access to the data that the fleet already capture and monitor them, and we give them more money. The union also make money percentages of the driver pay, so they are getting a significant benefit from what we're doing. One of our biggest customers in Israel started with a 6-month pilot with the largest workers union in Israel. And after the 6-month pilot, they decide to make a full rollout, and we're in discussion with few drivers union that have an interest of what we're doing.
Awesome. First of all, love the idea, great concept. Love the adaptability and change of like the company name and everything going around that. Small question, how are you thinking about like, if we think like a decade from now or whatnot, when we move into autonomous trucks, and obviously that's a trend, we're a little far, but when you pitch it to investors or you're pitching to us, what would be your thought process there and how to challenge that?
Yeah, great question. So autonomous vehicles need a lot of data, a lot of humans data, because the coexistence of autonomous vehicles and human-driven cars will take decades. It's not that autonomous vehicles appear one day and they replace all the vehicles. They need a lot of data to create policies in every city, in every location, to learn or to adapt the autonomous vehicles to the humans driving surrounding them. And we can help bridge the gap. Most of the companies collect vehicles data. We are collecting drivers data and a lot of drivers data to understand how we can personalize the behavior of autonomous vehicles. And regardless, we believe that it will take not a decade or 2 decades. Drivers will stay here for a while, and we're here to empower them.
With regard to new customers, when you're taking new customers, do you do that? Is it plug and play, or do you need to long processes of project integration?
Yeah, great question. So we have about 12 integrations today with the telematics provider, with the entire Israeli market and some in the American market. So every customer that already work with a fleet management that we have integration with. It's plug and play. If they work with a new provider that we don't work with so far, it's take us a few days to launch this integration. So it's not something that really stuck the process. So it's a plug and play in general.
All right.
Thank you
We
very
have
much.
one last question from the audience that is listening. Very good friend of ours. He's asking who's the biggest customer deployment in Israel? That was the question.
So we have two main customers. The bigger one, it's a Superbus. It's a public transport company, but we have the Tavura Group, which is a group of many customers who are live in all their fleets from the trucking companies in the north to the south. We even had a significant customer in public transport that were acquired recently. So Superbus and Tavura.
Very good. Thanks, Ido.
Thank you very much.
All right. Last but not least, before we're going to hear from the panelists their main takeaways, the last speaker is Michal Kapoor, Director of Strategic Cooper. Sorry, Kapoor. Thanks for correcting us. Director of Strategic Partnership at New Sight Imaging. Michal is the first female speaker in this showcase. So that's one advantage she's bringing. And the second advantage, she's in Barcelona right now. So she's going to present over Zoom. And we have colleagues from New Sight over here if you want to chat with them later. So Michal, we can hear you.
Hi,
and
hello,
if we
hello.
Can we
Can you hear me?
enlarge her image a bit?
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Great, great. Hello from Barcelona.
And show her the audience, please. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We have with us there in the audience some executives, our CEO and another head of our business units there. So we deeply apologize we couldn't be there with you, but we are in Barcelona. So thank you again for allowing us to join by Zoom. I'm going to tell you a little bit about New Sight. New Sight is a semiconductor company. We started doing very advanced 3D cameras, CMOS image sensors, but then we also kind of evolved to doing also spectral sensors. So we basically have two business units, one for 3D imaging serving the verticals as mobility, industrial automation, and so on, everything regarding 3D vision, the one I'm going to share with you today. And we have another business unit for spectral analysis, which is also quite advanced and very exciting. But if you have interest, we can share more when I have more time. We are very proud to say that we have already a footprint in the automotive industry. You can see a real Audi car with our sensor integrated inside the vehicle. So for example, here the use case was ADB system, basically the ability not to blind the other car. In this case, you probably are aware, this was done before by many OEMs that probably sitting there in the camera in the dash of the mirror. And then there's going to be a lot of calculations, processing to tell the headlight to shift the beam. With our solution, ZKW, it's a tier one that you probably know well from Austria, acquired by LG. We teamed up together and basically introduced this new solution inside the headlight. This is being commercialized and agreement, and we expect to see it already into vehicles by 2024, hopefully. So this is a very exciting first step for us. We have also some other successes in the industrial automation, also manufacturing for vehicles. For example, this is a large manufacturer using one of our image sensors for production control, very accurately anomalies on the product line, because as I'm going to tell you, we have a lot of technological advantages that allows us to be very accurate in a very high frame rate. So this is something we can do, and we already sell in hundred thousands of quantities of chips, and hope to get to millions in all verticals even this year. So just an overview about our products. We have components, basically 3D cameras, like you see here, line sensors, array sensor, and a new exciting sensor we just announced last week. And we also support with modules and even a full system if necessary. The last you see here, this is called the ETOF LiDAR. Basically, as a component maker, we understood that in order to engage with you, the industry, we have to show you our capabilities and how it really works, our technology. So we created this reference design. We don't sell it as a product at the moment. We just give it as a demonstration of how our 3D technology works. This is now being evaluated by many industry leaders, and whoever is not there, we really welcome you to try it yourself hands-on and see how our technology works. And I'm very excited also to tell you about the sensor we actually announced last week. This is the NSI 9000. So you can see a comparison versus a leading competitor. It's not hard to guess who it is by the currency, but the interesting part here is the real game changer of the price. So not only the performance that allows us to create a real full matrix of accurate 3D imaging, but also the price is 10 times lower. And this is the real game changer here, because there are so much good technologies out there trying to do accurate, reliable 3D imaging. But the real problem is that it's not feasible to put it all on the car in every car because it's too expensive. And this is our exact product market fit. We do very high performance technology, but it's still feasible to put at every car. A word about our technology. We have a technology called enhanced time of flight, or on time of flight technology. And we also can support with the multi-triangulation for very close ranges and accuracies, and even do fusion with 2D camera, which gives us a lot of advantages. Here, for example, is an image generated from our ETOF LiDAR demo. You can see original setting. We did it indoors, so the colors will be nice here. So you can see that it's color coded. Basically, the closer distances are the red, and the farther is the blue. So you can see how accurate the corners of the table are, and even the red one is the closer one, the yellow. So the resolution is very high versus sometimes, pictures we see generated from different LiDAR companies that sometimes is all red and yellow and so on. So the resolution is really high. Here you can see even a point cloud. This was generated, a point cloud of the car and the black and white 2D image in the same frame. So all in all, we have a lot of advantages. You can see this is our system of the ETOF LiDAR, very high resolution, ability to control the technology from the chip side. Basically, we have another feature that is called multi-set. We can define different configurations for shorter distances, longer distances, accumulate the pixels for longer, the energy for longer ranges. And that's how it allows us to make a very efficient, optimal solution and even deal with the heavy weather conditions. Maybe I'll show you some applications before I run out of the time, what we are actually involved in. So I mentioned before industrial automation. I know how much is in your interest, but we're very much involved. Also everything regarding sensing, even in the manufacturing construction processes and AGVs, since we can give also larger distances. And of course, automotive, we're very, you saw the ADB, it's only the beginning. We're involved for everything regarding smart parking, 360 LiDAR around the car, since we can allow a feasible price to put a LiDAR in 4 LiDARs on a car and create up to 50-meter very high accuracy range. And we have ability to deal with weather conditions, as I mentioned. And we are involved in many applications in ADAS at the moment. And we really encourage you also in Smart City, as we're now showcasing in Barcelona. So we really encourage you, and we'll be very happy to invite you to test our technology and see how it works by yourselves. Thank you. I think I was on time.
All right, thanks, Michal, and let's open it for questions. No question?
All right.
Okay.
Then let's see if Ken has something we can show the camera.
No questions? All right. So thank you very much, Michal. Obviously, all of our panelists wrote their feedback, and we're going to talk about it, collect it, etc. And now what we want to do is just invite each one of you, if you can come here for a second, just 30 seconds. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. From.
Yeah, I saw there was a question in the chat, so.
What was the question? Regarding the in-cabin, saw the message in one of your slides. Is it covered too?
Yes.
And you answered
so,
yes.
Yeah, so because I didn't have the time to reply, but I'll just use a few seconds to answer. So actually for in-cabin monitoring, we have a real advantage because the camera solution sometimes in many occasions invalid privacy issues of taking real pictures of humans. And since we're doing a 3D and point cloud, we can avoid this kind of privacy issues. This is one advantage. Another advantage is, of course, the ability to work in different lighting conditions. If it's the dark in the dark, and of course, if it's different color, people of color, so we don't have that kind of issues. And of course, the resolution and the power consumption. We don't need a lot of computations. We generate a real 3D data that is very accurate, and it allows us to do a much more cost-effective system.
Michal, all right, let's begin by order. Anyone wants to volunteer? Itai, maybe, as our host. No. You can do it from.
Oops. Yeah, I think we'll stay here. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all the presenters and for your time and all the panelists, all the process of validating and deciding who will be here in the showcase. It's not obvious. As far as the key takeaways, so I think what I saw during the process, all the 4 months, is that there's definitely a challenge that the infrastructure and also the regulation is in process, and it's not there yet in many ways. So I think most of the founders have a challenge in finding ways to lower the risk and improve the business case for the short term in order to get to the next fundable KPI. And I think the way to do it is either really focusing on use cases who are relevant for the next few years and improving the business case right now in not the utopic business case, but something valid. And the other thing is maybe strategic partnerships that we saw here a lot today, but not in all of the companies that we saw during the whole mission, which is another way to lower the risk. And the best thing is do both. So that's my takeaway.
Say just who you are.
Sure. Thank you very much for the presentations. A wonderful event, and thank you for including us. My name is Monica Ozels-Kalilo from Amazon Web Services. A couple of things that I wanted to share. So first of all, it's fantastic to see that so many mobility companies in Israel start to do good also by doing well. So congratulations on that. The second thing is that I agree with what Shahar just said, and I would also encourage you to still try to focus, because I think a lot of you are trying to solve a lot of different things at the same time. And probably it's a good strategy because the market may not still be there for many things that you want to do, but still I would encourage to think about what you should be doing first, maybe because the strategic partners are there to support you. And third, you are a lot of times complementing each other, and you may be interested sometimes to open doors to one another for, strategic solutions, especially if your solutions are complementary. So I would really, encourage you to try to find these collaborations here in the room as well. Thank you.
first of all, thank you for everybody that presented and for being here. Thank you for the opportunity. I think what Shachar said, I think is spot on in terms of the regulations. I think that's probably the biggest challenge that I see to several of the, or the vast majority of these initiatives, and I think being well positioned when regulations will open up or not be as strict is the key to make sure that you're there in that prime time. And in general, I think like I really loved a couple of ideas here around like the gamification in terms of drivers and others that I think is a very smart move around that. So again, encourage you all also to think about that, and also in just the context. I think just in terms of the presentation, I think one thing that was missing for the most was really like the competition landscape, which still I don't know exactly what it is, and it is important, I think, to include that in order for us to get a better grasp of what is out there. So just a thought for future endeavors.
Just say Yaniv, who you are.
Oh, sorry. I'm Yaniv Rivlin. I'm the regional general manager for Bird, Shared e-scooters, and EMEA head of partnerships.
Hi, I'm Avi Feldman, managing partner of Mobilion Ventures. I think that I would say that the common denominator of most of the startups here was around big data and AI. I think it's giving us a lot of encouragement with regard to new services that we can extract out of this big data and AI and sensing. I think that this is exactly where the Israeli high tech has a lot to offer. And with the help of those strategic providers that are in the room or others that are out there, that's I think that the best way for these startups to conquer the markets. Thank you.
Hi, Nir Lomitek. Thank you for having me, and it was really a pleasure to learn about new technologies and see how it's all come together to life. I think that the way we look at mobility today is probably not the way we're going to look at it in a few years from now when there are regulations in place. I think that we need to look on the future driver and the new generations coming up and try to think how they will commute. And I think the biggest challenge of your clients would be to evolve and develop new business models serving those type of new passengers. And I encourage you to think about that when you build in your products and platforms, how to use new methods of monthly recurring revenues and other ways to develop business models by your technologies, helping those facilitators to develop the new worlds for them, servicing those new generations to come. Thank you.
Hi, hello. I'm Gil Sheratsky. I run global operations and business development. I think that a lot has been said. First of all, thank you all the startups. It was really impressive. The companies that were here, companies that we saw before. There were others that were not here. That was also good. I have nothing to add to what my colleagues here have said, the smart things. I just want to say one thing to you, Yaniv. You asked Ido in his presentation, not this Ido, Ido from SafeMod. What are you going to do when the world will be autonomous in a decade? So I think that the automotive industry and the Israeli auto tech industry, I've been in so many meetings like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, and I asked the same question. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a decade, and the outcome of it is that, especially those days, I think that companies need to concentrate on the business model and generating revenues, and not only on the high multiples that we see now and what is actually going in the markets. And this should be also one of the missions and the targets of each company here. So yeah, that's my 5 cents.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. My name is Ilana Lieberman, and I'm from Sompo Digital Lab in Tel Aviv. I agree with what everyone said here. And there was one comment about competitors that most of the startups didn't talk about that. Actually, I would like to hear more like why you want, what you will do after the mobility mission, what are your goals actually, and why you decided to participate in the mobility mission. That was missing for me here. But thank you, it was really interesting.
I'll jump in now. This has been I think a fascinating set of presentations. It's great to be able to participate here and hear all the challenges that have been identified and the way they're being addressed, and whole breadth of topics. The one thing I would add, competition was mentioned several times. I would also mention barriers to entry. It's one of the things I always look to hear. You can penetrate the market, but then what's going to stop your competitors from coming in? What are the barriers to entry? So that's something I always want to hear more about. But thank you very much. Great presentations.
Thanks, Ken. Anyone else? I don't see Adas from KPMG. Michael. No, Michael had to. No, I had to drop earlier. So Itai, last but not least, our host.
So unfortunately, Michael had to leave, but I know all the startups, a little bit scared from him because he has a tough questions, and also our team is scared from him. So it's okay. As you also, it's very complex problem that we're dealing, the mobility. And if I saw here tonight a lot of startups, very amazing startups, but everybody are talking about fear from collision, fear for the driver maybe ruin the fleets, and it's struck me that we are trying to do good, but we are fear from sometimes what we will do. And I don't have a good answer for that, but we are dealing with that. This is our reality here in Drive and in Power, and together with these partners, we try to solve it with the Israeli startups, amazing Israeli startups. 6 years ago, we had only 50, 60 companies, and now we have more than 600. Okay, that's a big jump, and Israel is a leader. All the big names are here. And I hope more to come, and more solution and doing good will come from the Israeli ecosystem. And I want to thank you all for coming, listening, and give your thoughts and presenting your companies. And I wish you the best and good health. And I hope everything will go back to normal. So good luck with your flights in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Itai. Everyone, don't forget to take the swag outside, and there's more food, and we encourage you to continue conversations right here over emails, contact via us, or anything else. Thank you very much for whoever joined from home. Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.